All right, let's do some intravenous calculations. So all of our answers should either be in milliliters per hour or GTT per minute or drops per minute is what I'll say. So for the introductory example, we have a client with an infusion pump, and that's an order of 3,000 milliliters over 24 hours. And we just want to know how many milliliters per hour we'll administer, which just means we need to divide. So 3,000 divided by 24 is 125 milliliters per hour. That one's pretty easy and straightforward. Number 2, we have 80 milliliters of 0.9% something over 20 minutes. We get to ignore this part because we're only interested in milliliters and the time. So 80 milliliters per 20 minutes, but we want our answer in hours, so we need our 60 minutes per 1 hour to cancel minutes with minutes. And this gives us 240 milliliters per hour. Okay, next we want to convert these ones into drops per minute, and we need to pay attention to our drop factors. So 10 drops per milliliter is a macro drop, whereas 60 drops per milliliter is a micro drop. So first we're going to use the order of 100 milliliters per hour, but we want to convert this into drops per minute. So the first thing that we can do is write our 10 drops for every 1 milliliter, so that milliliters will cancel. And next we need our 1 hour should go on top because we need to cancel, so 1 hour per 60 minutes. Now we get drops per minute, which is what we want. This becomes 16.7 drops per minute. Our second example is 50 milliliters for every 20 minutes with a drop factor of 60 drops per every 1 milliliter. And we want our answer in drops per minute, so this one's straightforward. We end up with 150 drops per minute. Okay, here are some you try it problems. So for our first one, we have 750 milliliters over 16 hours, but we want our answer to be in milliliters per hour. So this is one where we can just divide 750 divided by 16, which is 46.9 milliliters. You could possibly round that one up to about 47 milliliters, but I'll just use the decimal for this example. So number 2, 30 milliliters of this stuff over 20 minutes, and we want to end up with hours down here. So for 1 hour there are 60 minutes. We cancel minutes with minutes, and we get 90 milliliters per hour. I forgot our per hour on this first one here. Okay. Now number 3 and 4 and 5, we want our answers in drops per minute instead. So this first one, number 3, is administering this medicine in 30 milliliters per hour with a drop factor of a micro drop, which is 60 drops per minute. So we will put that here, 60 drops per minute. And then we need, that should be 60 drops per milliliter, not minute. 1 milliliter. And then we need 1 hour is 60 minutes. So hours cancel, milliliters cancel, even these 60s cancel, so that we get 30 drops per 1 minute. Number 4, we have 2,000 milliliters in 12 hours. The drop factor is 15 drops per milliliter. And we have 1 hour is 60 minutes. Cancellation, so that we get 41.7 drops per minute. Number 5, we have 60 milliliters administered in 30 minutes. And the drop factor is a micro drop, so again, the 60 GTT per 1 milliliter. So 60 drops per 1 milliliter. And that's all we need. Because milliliters cancel, we have our answer left in drops per minute, so that we get 120 drops per minute. If you look at this last problem, it has 3 parts to it, which makes it seem a little bit harder than the other ones. But if we read it, we have the following medicines for 24 hours with a drop factor of 15 drops per milliliter. All we're really doing here is adding up these milliliters and converting it into drops per minute. So for our first step, we'll add 1,000 plus 500 plus 500, which gives us 2,000 milliliters. And then we need to convert 2,000 milliliters per our 24 hours and convert that to drops per minute using our drop factor of 15 drops per 1 milliliter and 60 minutes per hour. But we'll put hours on top so that we can cancel. Oops. So this leaves us with 20.8 drops per minute. All right, and that's it. That's our dimensional analysis for intravenous calculations.